80s heat! 80s heat! Friendship, laughs, and camaraderie!
Okay, guys, so this is, we're calling an emergency 80s heat here, all the way from the UK. For the first time, we're going international.
Yeah, right.
International. So I'm from England originally. We're now in England because we've got Luke here, special guest, member of 80s Heat for quite a while, but this is the first time you guys have ever seen him. We've got a few things to discuss. He's called an emergency heat because, well, he wants to address the hate. He's been getting a lot of hate lately.
Well, that Luke I know likes to tie one, but he likes to go back. Hey, that guy.
Oh, we went a whole episode with that mentioning Luke, didn't we?
I never really cared for that guy.
Poor Luke. Like he's had more hate lately than frickin' Vladimir Putin,
well deserved,
Justin Trudeau, and
hate.
Donald Trump combined. He's had so much hate.
Well, if he wasn't on the opposite time zone,
but I feel like I'm going to go easy on him today.
we would call him right now. We would call him right now and tell it to his face that we never really cared much for him.
We should do that.
Some might say rightly so. Some might say unrightly so. We'll see. We'll see what he has to say. Before we do, though, if you enjoy content like this, guys, this is the 80s Heat podcast. We like to talk about everything 80s usually. We're going to talk about a few things today. What I will say is, thanks to the subscribers, we've now got 512 at this point.
That's good for the time you've been going.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. It's caught on really quick. We had one video that went viral, that Andre the Giant video, and I'll tell you what, it riled a lot of people up. We'll discuss that in a future episode when we have Marky and Jake on.
Yeah.
Because Marky made a claim that Andre the Giant was scared of two people, and people went nuts in the comments, and that video went viral, and there's like over 100,000 views or something.
Yeah. Because he never met me, and he'd be frightened of me.
Absolutely.
Because I am massive.
I think it's just smell that has scared the shit out of Andre, to be fair. We've got a few things to discuss in this emergency 80s Heat. Obviously, we don't have Marky and Jake here. You'll notice that's the big difference. Marky, I think, he's like went into a bit of a depression after the last movie fight, after our 80s fighter fight there, Ivan Drago versus the Punisher. Punisher won, as you guys might know, and he had a massive hissy fit, slumped into a bit of a depression, and ended up institutionalized, I think. So
it's about time.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
It's about time.
So he's not dealing with that very well. So he couldn't come to England and be part of this. And Jake, I think, is like doing a protest outside Fort Bragg or something.
Yeah.
Because he hates the military.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Yeah.
Among the things we have to discuss, Luke's a big Superman fan, as you can tell up here. And he's got a whole bunch of like collectibles around his room here. He's a huge Superman fan, just like me, hence the t-shirt. And so one of our main topics will be, who is the greatest Superman and why is it Christopher Reeve? We'll discuss what your favourite Superman is and mine, and then we'll see if we agree. Anyway, Luke, you have some hate to address.
Yeah. So I need to address this hate. I know when it started. Let me take you both back, and I'll do a Brian sit forward.
Oh.
let me do a monologue. So I'll take you back to October 2017. 80s Heat was in its infancy.
I feel like you need to do this if you're doing a Brian.
80s Heat. Oh, sorry. Go Packers. 80s Heat was in its infancy, and I was coming over to see Ian. Halloween Heat was upon us, and we had a trivia. We watched 3 films, I believe. It was The Exorcist. Was it Halloween?
The original 78 classic.
And what was the other film we watched?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. Now, growing up, so I don't know if any of you know, I might see remember Ian's my uncle. So I've grown up a lot around 80s films, horror films. My knowledge is fairly good based on the upbringing I've had. So every 80s Heat at that time was a trivia. I don't know if it still is, but at that time the trivia was big. And traditionally, the person that won the previous one did the questions. I had no knowledge of the questions, but I was good at the trivia because they were mainstream films I'd watched with Ian. I'd watched them numerous times. I'm someone who likes to study up on the films. Brian did not take well to this. He did not take well to this at all. I don't know why. Could he be racist? I don't know. That's what the people have said, not me personally.
Surprisingly,
some people.
We know Jake. We know Claude is for sure.
Yeah, Claude is. Yeah. Claude. Yeah. Every time I come in the country, Claude's at customs trying to get me out. He lost his head. You know, I was a younger guy. Like Brian's at least 50 now.
56 or something?
56. Yeah. I'm only 30.
On years.
I'm only 34.
Yeah.
The smell of ammonia clouds his senses. He gets aggressive.
He has to wear the special pants.
I understand Brian's hate.
Yeah.
Let's make Jake's hate. When I was 17, I very briefly, pondered with the idea of joining the military.
Oof. Well, so
There's only one thing that Jake's hate more than the Canadian military. It's the British military.
yeah.
And he knew this. He smelt this on me. He smelt my clothes. He smelt it. He said I walked like a man who knew how to march. And that was it. And ever since, he's been nothing but mean. He's chastised me. He robbed my koozie.
He did rob the Superman
He doesn't even like Superman.
No.
Yeah. And he drinks his little shitty beers. If you just lean forward for a minute.
The size of these.
This is a beer.
This is how you know we're in England now.
This is 620 millilitres of nectar goodness.
Yeah, that's
Look
a big
at it.
beer. That's a big beer. We don't mess around
You
here.
drink 330 cans of nonsense. And I applauded you, Jake, in the last video for at least drinking Blue Moon, which is semi-manly. Can we genderise things in this podcast?
Of course we can. It's 80C. Of course we can.
For being semi-manly. None of that fruity shite. I know why you both don't like me. Claude I can take.
Does it hurt though?
Yeah, time to time. I've got thick skin. As a man of 80s heat, I can take a beating.
Yeah.
I feel more sympathy.
Just feel bad for them.
Sympathy,
To have that much hate boiling up inside you all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to, like they always say, the bullies have usually been bullied, and you've got to sympathise with them. Sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, they both fancy me.
Or that they fancy, but the
Closets.
look deep.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I've always thought that. I can tell by the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the hate anyway. And do you know what? I can take it if that gives them something to talk about.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If this makes you've got 512 subscribers,
Yeah.
clearly the people enjoy the hate.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had some. Yeah. Absolutely. We've
Yeah.
had a lot of comments about the hate, and
Yeah.
most people tend to side with them, but I think they're all just Canadian
Yeah.
and racist.
The Rock is the people's champion. I'm the people's hate champion, and I can accept that. And we both have the same workout regime. We both intake the same calories.
You and The Rock.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Me and
yeah.
Dwayne.
Yeah. It's only the hair that sets you apart, really.
That's it. Yeah. So we're the same apart from I'm better because I've got a better hair.
You have nice hair.
Yeah.
You do have nice hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have to say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah. No,
But I have absolutely no doubt those two hate-fueled monsters will just give it back.
Yeah.
So just be prepared for that.
It'll get nasty. Yeah. I'm ready.
Right, so Superman. We're going to talk about who is the greatest Superman and why. So me and you, Luke, we are Superman fans. We have been for a long time.
Yep.
In your opinion, who out of all the mediums, this can be movie, this can be TV, this can be anime, cartoon, voiceovers, it can be anything. Who is the best person that did Superman and why?
So to set the scene of how I got into Superman, I was not a comic book guy, but me and him used to play a lot of games.
Yeah.
Then with GameCube and stuff. I'd regularly go around to Ian's. He'd be watching Smallville, which is obviously Superman the teenage years.
Oh, small.
Yeah. Before we did it, and I used to just be like, "Come on, turn this off. Let's play some GameCube." And then one day I just started watching season 4 randomly. It was on TV, the channel they called E4, I watched that and I was hooked. Like, I think I watched 5 episodes that day. Ian, you had all the box sets.
I did, yeah.
I used to borrow them off you all the time until I got to the end of season 4, then I bought my own. And that's where the love affair started.
Right there.
They're all there. Yeah. If anyone says the best Superman isn't Christopher Reeve, it'd be really
Lies.
controversial.
Lies.
Yeah.
Lies.
Just because he's the only guy who can make you believe that Clark Kent and Superman are different people. For me. Now, Brandon Routh came close, who's Superman Returns, if you don't know. Brandon, he did a great job. He was a great Clark. He was a better Clark than he was Superman, for me. But he could make you could almost distinguish between the two. But Christopher Reeve was the ultimate, and it's very hard to get away from that. My top 3 is Christopher Reeve, Superman, both. Brandon Routh, because he's playing both. But then it's Tom Welling for his 10 seasons of Clark.
Right.
Clark. I love Henry Cavill, I do. But his Clark Kent is too cool. He's too suave. That's not what Clark Kent is.
Right.
And his Superman and Clark are identical. Nothing changes apart from the outfit.
Clark Kent, Daily Planet. What's your position on the Bat Vigilante in Gotham?
That's the only thing that
Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree. Christopher Reeve, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I truly believe to be the best Superman. That's the Superman I grew up with in the early 80s, right? That's all I had as Superman initially. Comics-wise, I didn't really get into the comics until like way later on. And that actually with the Smallville years that I started learning about the comics. But I used to be a Spider-Man comics guy and Batman. So Christopher Reeve was my Superman growing up. And yeah, like you said, like I've never known, and I've had this discussion with so many people, but I've never known anyone do the duality like he does. Like you said with Henry Cavill, and I don't. This is no fault of Henry Cavill's. Like Henry Cavill is a fine actor. I love the guy. He's a great Superman. I don't think he pulled off the duality, and I don't think it's his fault. I think it's how it was directed and wrote.
Yeah, it was the writing.
Yeah. If he'd have been taught, or not taught, but if he'd have been directed to do the kind of to make, be a bit more bumbling, like hunch a little, push the glasses up every now and again, to have his voice a little bit different, I'm sure he could. I'm absolutely sure he could. That's just not the way he was directed for whatever reason. But for me, my argument has always been, Superman would be the most recognizable being on the planet if that was in the real world.
Yeah.
He flies around doing all the things he does, like literally all over the world and off-world, and doesn't cover his face. So if he is going to have a human disguise, the Clark Kent persona, that would have to be a marked difference, other than from Superman, than just a bit of a change in hairstyle and a pair of thick rimmed glasses. It has to be a whole persona, and Christopher Reeve absolutely destroyed that role in a good way. He nailed it. Everything about the guy was changed. His voice would go up a few octaves.
Well, of course not, Lois. I mean, why would anyone want to make a total stranger look like a fool?
He'd be like stumbling over his words. He'd be comical. He'd be comedic. He'd be constantly pushing up his glasses. He'd be dropping things. He'd be bumping into people. And some say, well, that's unnecessary because he wasn't necessarily like that in the comics. Yeah, but the comics leave a lot to the imagination. Something has to be very visual and very obvious in movies. And to convince the people around, like he's got like Lois Lane, who's supposed to be a really good journalist. She never worked out it was Superman. She started to figure things out, put things together in Superman 2 a little bit, but it took a bit of time of getting to know Clark a little bit, right? He was so good. And I've never seen anyone do that duality, anything close to Christopher Reeve, apart from Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh did a really good job, and I think it's just a travesty that he didn't get a second movie. Yeah, I really do. He was the closest thing. Now, a lot of people, younger people today, are like, no, Henry Cavill's our Superman. There's threads on Facebook pages that Henry Cavill's our Superman. And I get it, you love Henry Cavill because you probably think that the Christopher Reeve Superman movies are a bit too campy, a bit too old school. You couldn't get away with that stuff now, and people probably wouldn't take that movie seriously now. It was a different time. But if you look at the performance alone, if you could take Christopher Reeve's performance and put it into a modern movie, it'd stand up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. The Henry Cavill being our Superman is because Man of Steel was 2013. So we've had 11 years of the same Superman.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, I reckon if you're 5 years and up, and you're a Superman fan, that's all you've had, and you do have, that's natural bias.
Yeah,
it is, because we both had. I didn't have Christopher Reeve as I was born in '89, so I have Christopher Reeve as like a child of Superman, but I kind of do because that was the only Superman I had in terms of films I was seeing. So people now will love Henry, and I don't dislike Henry. He's not in the top 3, but I think he's great. That's the point I want to make. Like, he's a great Superman.
Yeah,
he's a big guy. He looks good. He's he's suave. He carries himself well.
Stoic.
Yeah, I just don't like the Clark, but I don't blame him for that.
No,
because that's got to have been written in. It has to have been written in. Because otherwise they just said, "Do it again." And that's what I imagine.
Yeah.
But he turns up in Man of Steel, and at the end, this big guy with glasses, and he's like, "Yeah, here's Clark," and he looks good.
And it's just like a flash of Clark, and he has a bit of a grin, and you're like, okay, maybe. But then Batman Superman came out, and it was like they just had him with the same voice, and they made, he's massive. He's like a bodybuilder in that movie. He's even bigger than he was in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And they made no effort to really cover his body. He just looked huge. And it's like, you're Superman. I think was it Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, one of the two, like a comedy sketch, and it's like, you're Superman. Is like, what? And he was making fun of the fact that that's the only thing that's different is the glasses.
Clark Kent, Daily Planet. What's your position on the Bat Vigilante in Gotham?
You're the new guy in town, is that right? I know you.
I don't think so. Excuse us.
People ever tell you look like Superman?
No, I've never heard that before.
Huh.
Like I said, Mr. Wayne, people in Gotham need to learn.
You're Superman. Hey, will you take a picture with us?
It's true. It's true. With Christopher Reeve, it was like, you can watch those. You've got I'll show you a picture of this in a second. I'll put it up on screen. But Luke's got a film cell on the wall, and it's got Christopher Reeve Superman and Clark Kent, and it just looks like two different people.
It could be, absolutely.
Like, you could be convinced that was not the same person.
Yeah.
And you're not even hearing his voice and seeing the mannerisms. Christopher Reeve was just such. Oh, I could go on all day about it.
What films did Brian say are the 2 of the worst films ever?
He said Mad Max.
Yeah.
And for some reason he's got a real thing about Showdown in Little Tokyo. He hates it. Yeah.
None of them compared to Batman vs Superman.
No, it was shocking.
That's the worst film.
Yeah.
What is our link? Obviously, our mums are called the same name. Well, that changes everything. Imagine that.
Batman is hell bent on killing Superman. He's about to deliver the final blow,
and he finds it so easy.
Well, and that's the thing. We could go on a rant about that for ages as well. Like, that movie sucked ass for me, just because there were some good things about it, but we won't get into the Jesse Eisenberg thing because that really pissed me off.
Yep.
He was the least Lex Luthor ever.
Yep.
Anyway, but there's a bit, they make Superman look stupid. He's not. His brain works millions of times faster than a regular human's. It has to be able to move at those speeds. Right, has to. But Batman outsmarts him, not once, not twice, but 3 times. It hits him with like 3 different kryptonite grenades. After the first one, Superman probably would have learned his lesson. But no, and they just made him really dumb. And Batman eventually beats him. He's about to stab him with a kryptonite spear or something. And then he says, you're killing Martha. And Batman goes, Martha? Who's that? Why'd you say that name? And then, do we just become best friends? Lois just shows up out of nowhere, by the way, magically. Oh, that's his mum's name. Oh, Oh, why we're fighting?
That line belongs to Step Brothers. Did
Yeah.
we just become best friends?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely nonsense.
Yeah.
Then that's where I feel sorry for Henry Cavill. Because he's followed the roughest scripts, and you could tell he loved to be his dog called Kal-El.
His dog's called Kal-El, yeah.
Yeah, he loved to be Superman. Like he just took it so serious.
Yeah.
He took it all on board. It's not his fault.
No, he was great.
But it has been written terribly. I love Man of Steel, by the way. That's a great film.
Man of Steel
one of my favourite
was
films.
Yeah,
They did it fantastically well. It's my. This will sound stupid. It's my 4th favourite Superman film.
Okay, but what are the first 3?
Superman 2,
Yeah,
Superman 1,
yeah,
Superman Returns,
yeah.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Yeah, I'd go with that.
So
yeah.
it sounds stupid, like, oh, your 4th best, but that is still a great place to be.
Yeah.
Because the first 3 are, in my opinion, flawless. Like, I couldn't change anything about them first 3 films.
No,
I couldn't.
yeah, Superman 2. Yeah, with the General Zod and
that's perfect.
some of those one-liners, Terror Stampede. Oh.
Yeah, Superman 1 is fantastic, but Returns is, for me,
It's really good.
phenomenal.
So I was really excited. I mentioned it to you that Mark Guggenheim. There was mention on social media just recently of like a potential return for Brandon Routh in the role in like a series, but apparently he's kind of like walked back a little bit and said, "Well, no, that was a long time ago actually that we did have those talks. We discussed some ideas, and that WC and DC have kind of like, what did he say? There's no indication that they're actually going to move forward with the project." So it sounds like that was all like you get a lot of today, just a lot of hype about nothing. But we'll see.
I think sometimes a lot of irons in the fire type thing where I think there's a lot of people like, well, this could make us money, that could make us money. Can we get these on board? The social media plays a big part on everything that's around us. Like, I think people now appreciate Brandon Routh more than ever.
They do, yeah.
And as that goes on, there's going to be more and more opportunities for Brandon Routh to reprise the role.
Well, look at the pop he got when he was at that Comic Con and he revealed the Kingdom Come logo on his chest, and he was coming back for that Arrowverse. Now that Arrowverse wasn't great. Like it wasn't that Crisis on Infinite Earths.
They built that a lot better than it actually was.
Yeah, and everything was, and even Stephen Amell said like those that he didn't like filming those because they're just kind of too rushed and there's too much stuff that fits in and it kind of spoils it and you can't really. You know, but Brandon got a major pop because people just thought, oh, he was an awesome Superman. We want to see him back in the suit. I was one of those people. I love Brandon Routh. Like after Christopher Reeve, he was the best to do it.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So, you mentioned your top 3 Supermen. Tom Welling, number 3. Why is that?
Partly nostalgia. I thought he was. He carried the insecurities of a guy who has landed here and not know what he's doing here. I like the fact that you could tell he just, for a man that's all powerful, he was vulnerable, and to pull that off.
Jakes, are you listening?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
He's a guy that could tear everyone limb from limb.
Yeah.
But the vulnerability shined through. He had a love interest. He was very precious of his Earth mum and dad, even like schoolwork and things. He was having all these dilemmas consciously. It was like, that's not an easy thing to do with a man that could rule the world.
Can you imagine, and I've thought about this because I'm a nerd and probably a little bit on the spectrum. I've thought about this a little bit. Can you imagine having the powers of Superman? Like Jake says, he's an arsehole, is too perfect. Can you imagine having all that power where you can literally...
That's why you don't like me.
Maybe. Because
you're too perfect. Yeah.
There you go. Jake's insecurity.
Yeah. You're jealous of me, Jake.
Yeah.
You heard this here first.
But having that kind of power where you can literally, like, move mountains. Can you imagine being, like, in bed next to Lois or whoever your wife was and just accidentally, like, and flicking your hand and you sleep?
Dead. Yeah.
Dead. Right? Or something. Like, you would have to be very, very careful of every single thing you do in life.
Absolutely.
And be constantly restrained.
Yeah. So as a Smallville fan, season 5, his powers get taken away. And he has the thing where he climbs up the silo and he drops, and Lana thinks he's dead. He drops, his powers have gone, comes back.
Yeah.
That whole time is the most vulnerable you'll ever see a man.
Yeah.
Because he knows that, God, I've got the love of my life, but I can't do anything anymore. Like, everything he's known to be doing is gone. And you see that turmoil.
Yeah.
I thought Tom Welling got a lot of criticism in the first few years. Just reading online, so obviously social media wasn't like it was today.
No.
But you Google it and be like,
MySpace.
Like Krypton site and stuff. And think people were like digging out every episode got reviewed to the 9s. I thought he did it brilliantly. Like, yeah, I totally bought into every episode. You forget how powerful he is when certain things are happening, and you're on the edge of your seat. Will he overcome this? If any rational mind would go, of course he was Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But he made you believe that that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
He's only third because he never really donned the cape as such.
No, it was kind of like a CGI cape at the end. Kind of thing. And
yeah. So to be the best Superman would be tough to put him in there, but he's one of my favourite. He's my second favourite Clark behind Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. No, fair play.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that. So, Marky is institutionalised right now. Oh, speaking of Marky, you know what? I've done something to cheer you up. I'm in England. This is the first 80s Heat episode film from England. So we know you like your sports jerseys. I went out today and I got you a sports jersey. So this is coming your way. Official England football, or as you call it, soccer. It's like a retro one, eh?
It's nice. So this is, I believe it's from 1986, but it's what we all wear. And it's going to be nice for you because you can finally be part of a successful nation in June.
Yeah.
Because Canada's never successful at anything.
No, not anything. No.
You're really good at being woke. Up the Trudeau boys.
Do you know what he said on the last episode? I don't know if you've seen it. He said Canadians are good drinkers. Cans of beer are like this, the like little canettes.
Yeah, so
You guys have the drinking Olympics. You drink a lot of beer.
No, we do drink a lot of beer.
so
We're
that's
very
a-
good at that.
that's a sport.
If that was an Olympic sport, we'd be world champions every year.
There's few countries that I think are better than Canadians.
The
at
Germans,
drinking.
the Germans are good drinkers, and the
Germans are-
British.
The Germans,
are
the
good
British, Canadians are up there.
This is where it's at.
I've drank with you boys. No. The fact that
You guys don't have a clue.
The fact that Jake had a blue moon in not the last podcast, that came out this morning, so I've not seen it, but the one before, and I was applauding him
Yeah.
for drinking something that
Finally.
Yeah.
A manly drink.
may hit the bloodstream
Yeah.
if he has enough of them.
But over there they like to drink now a little wedge of lemon or orange.
Wedge of orange.
Yeah.
Mark, you'll enjoy June. England, it's coming home.
It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Right. Yes. So Marky's institutionalised. He's a little bit down and depressed because he thinks the tournament is solid. Our 80s fighter tournament. I'll put the rules up on screen now. We're not having a brand new fight. We're just going to ask Luke what he thinks about the results of the last one in episode 11. We had Ivan Drago versus the Punisher. This is Dolph versus Dolph. So Dolph Lundgren's Ivan Drago versus Dolph Lundgren's Punisher from the 1989 movie. Luke, who you got and why? Go.
It's not going to be long. I don't have much to say because for me, so you guys have every podcast I've watched, you've had jobbers, and in this situation,
Well, we have to weed out some of the some guys that don't belong.
in this situation, in this particular matchup, Ivan Drago's a jobber.
Ooh.
Is he, isn't he?
Well,
He's a jobber. He is.
I already expressed my opinion. This is all you, Luke.
So I've not seen your opinion yet,
Yeah. Okay.
but I will catch up on this afterwards. But for me, Ivan Drago battered a man out of his prime to death. Granted, fine, but out of his prime. He couldn't beat Rocky Balboa, who essentially wasn't in his prime, was he? He wasn't in his prime. It was the that was a long way in.
Yeah.
That was a long way in. That's the kind of the last one we saw him fight.
I mean, it
properly.
looked good.
Yeah, for sure.
He
Yeah.
was kind of getting on a bit. He didn't have quite the eye of the tiger anymore. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
But the Punisher, for me, and I love the Punisher. That character he doesn't stop it's relentless. It's someone who you think you've got the best in him and you haven't.
Are you saying he keeps coming back at you?
Yeah.
That's fine. Frank Castle's really tough.
He is. He just keeps coming at you.
Just keeps coming at you.
And with that said,
Who would win in a fight? A freaking grizzly bear or Frank Castle? Frank Castle, because Frank Castle keep coming back at you.
And do you know why? Because he can take punishment. Oh. Which is weird, given his name.
Oh.
Yeah. He's in the looking glass now, guys.
So, Frank Castle for the win.
I don't even think it's a difficult decision.
Right.
Frank Castle for the easy win.
Easy.
Now, had you put Ivan Drago against Axel Foley, I'd have to think a bit harder.
Right.
I'd have voted Axel Foley.
Okay.
But...
Oh boy.
That man could pull off a blouse.
Mark is going to be just losing his mind.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, I don't think Drago stands a chance against Punisher. At all.
No?
No.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely not. No.
Well, I did mention the snap kick. He did a lot of kicks. He did a
did a lot of
roundhouse.
kicks,
He
yeah.
did a back kick. He did a roundhouse. He did a. Have you ever seen Drago do a kick?
No.
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 Even his punches couldn't take down Rocky Balboa. Emmanuel had to go to a training camp just to be fit enough.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Frank Castle go to a training camp?
No.
Not rare. No, very fucking often.
But I did see him take down like an entire team of Yakuza
Yeah.
with flails, Jake.
Yeah.
With flails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So it's not in dispute anymore, guys. There's no longer a controversy. Luke has settled this. Ivan Drago has lost fair and square to Frank Castle. Dolph Lundgren's Frank Castle. It's over. Marky, get over it. Alrighty, so that's that. Luke, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me into your home for this emergency episode of The Heat. I have some rapid fire questions for you. So 5 are going to be Superman related. And okay, so just as fast as you can. Like, I'm not going to give you such a time limit.
do you have reasoning or just answers?
You can give reasoning if you choose.
Okay.
But I'm just going to be asking you a series of questions and answer it just as fast as you can. Right? Try not to think about it too much.
Yep.
But if you want to give why, I might even ask you why on a couple. So there's going to be 5 Superman-related ones, because like Christopher Reeve was like our big centre subject here, and then 10 non-Superman-related questions. So, ready? Best Lex Luthor.
Michael Rosenbaum.
Why?
Because he did it more consistently than Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's fantastic, but Michael Rosenbaum got me emotionally invested. That's not against Gene Hackman, because Michael Rosenbaum had more to work with, but I could sit and watch Michael Rosenbaum do it all day. And just he had me. There was one episode, and I'm not ashamed to admit, in Smallville, I was in tears because of his acting. With him and Lionel. Yeah, with him and Lionel. Yeah. And that got me. Now, Gene Hackman for me was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Lex should be more menacing than hilarious, in my opinion.
And I agree. I think he did it like he did everything.
Yeah.
He did the menacing, he did the funny, he did the crazy when he was losing his mind, right?
But there were times with Michael Rosenbaum where you rooted for him. That's a great actor. That's a great actor.
And great writing.
Yeah.
But you did, not agreed. Favourite Superman suit?
Oh. Does it have to have been
It can be any of the Superman
Red
suits.
Sun?
Red Sun?
Red Sun.
From the graphic
I
novel.
love that sickle.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's incredible.
Hammer and sickle, okay.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Cool. Favourite Superman villain in all mediums?
Oh, Lex.
Lex Luthor?
Oh yeah, easy, yeah.
Favourite episode of Smallville?
Season 5, episode 3. And I mentioned it before.
This guy's memory, Jesus.
It was when he's climbing.
Steel trap?
Yeah, it's when he's climbing the silo explodes. They all think Clark's dead. He walks into the barn, the Clark farmhouse. Lana's there crying. They play Dishwater Collide.
Mr. and Mrs. Kent? When we collide, we lose ourselves. When we collide, we break in two.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. That I've watched Smallville through twice. I've watched the episode at least 15 times.
Really?
Yeah. I could pull out at any point, sit through it, and enjoy the highs and lows.
Alright.
Yeah.
Now I know you just mentioned Dishwaller Collide, but favourite song from Smallville is the next one.
I love This Waller Collide, but it's not my favourite song. It's Depeche Mode Precious.
Oh really?
When we first get introduced to Brainiac.
Yeah. James Masters as Brainiac.
It's a great episode. You see it like seeping through. It goes off with Depeche Mode. The credits hit on the bass.
It's like the black. It was
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So you're gonna have 10 non-Superman rapid fire now.
Yeah. Favourite horror movie? Halloween. Rob Zombie's first one.
Even more so than the classic, 1978.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that about you.
Yeah. The first
Really?
one. Yeah. The whole. I love the whole build up with the child being a bit of a. You find out what he's like. He is slitting his stepdad's throat. Oh yeah, that's incredible. We watched it at the cinema together.
We did.
So that was my first Halloween film at the cinema, and I think that just resonates with me totally. The nostalgia of watching that at the cinema.
Right.
We'd watched the, obviously because you had them all, we'd watched the DVDs.
Yeah.
But to see it at the cinema and to hear that music at the cinema, I don't think that'll ever beat for me.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play. Okay. Sly or Arnold?
Sly.
Okay. Favourite musical artist or band?
Blink 182.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not 80s at all.
No, sorry. Oh, if you want 80s,
I didn't ask for 80s.
If you want,
that's your favourite, but go on.
If you want 80s, the most I've got on the 80s is Dokken.
Dokken?
Yeah, I love Dokken.
And what do I love about Dokken?
Dream Warriors.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yeah, I love Dokken. Yeah.
Cool. American football or rugby?
American football.
Okay.
Houston Texans. Planet Houston.
The Planet Houston.
Yeah.
General's odd reference.
Yeah.
NFL or NHL?
NFL.
JCVD, Van Damme, or Seagal?
Oh, Van Damme.
My man.
Yeah.
Right there. Favourite sports team of all time?
Manchester United.
Manchester United. Favourite member of 80s Heat?
You. No,
you can send it there.
No. This will be a curveball. Rob.
Ooh.
I like Rob.
Downtown Rob Brown?
Because I'm all for diversity.
Yeah. He's our only black guy in 80s Heat. You've got to have one, right?
Rob.
Yeah, Rob. Yeah.
I feel like I should take a knee.
Don't do that.
No, okay.
It's 80s Heat. Least favourite member of 80s Heat?
Oh, Brian.
Wow.
I don't care for him.
No.
I don't care for him. I don't know what it is.
He's delicate. Right, that's why I bought him the jersey, right?
Yeah.
You've got to...
When he comes away from the institutionalisation, I'll try again. For the fourth time. He's always getting sent away. It's weird.
Yeah. Keeps getting those red cards.
It's nice.
Very emotional.
It's very nice of us to keep putting up with it.
Yeah. But he's special.
I don't care.
You've got to make. I know, but you've got to make exceptions.
You know what you're getting for Jake, don't you? You know he's weird.
Yeah. Okay. And the final question. Speaking of Jake, why do you think it is that Jake hates the military?
Because he was never quite physically advanced enough to get in. And I think he's mentally. I think he's insecure. It's sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
Why would you hate Superman? Oh, sorry. Is he a bit too manly for you?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think we all know the real reason.
He gets schooled on that every time. We've schooled him so
It's
many
not
times.
hard.
We have a thing called Jake logic. It's very, very easy to outwit Jake. His logic is flawed to say the very least.
Yep.
That's what we call it, Jet Logic. So yeah, maybe just insecure. I don't know.
I think
Hence all the hate
yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
For the military, you, Superman, my mum apparently.
Yeah.
Doesn't like my
He's scared
mum.
of your mum.
Scared of my mum. Yeah,
What does that tell you?
Insecure. Well, yeah. Luke, this has been a blast. Thanks very much. This has been good. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do, hit that like button if you haven't already, and then make sure you are subscribed. And we'll be back very soon with 80s Heat episode 12. I think we're on next. Thank you again to all the subscribers, 512 of you. You're awesome. We appreciate it. And we will catch you on the next one. Luke, any final words?
June 2025, Brian. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, brother. Oh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
When 80s Heat runs wild on you. 80s Heat. 80s Heat. Catch you next time.
80s Heat! 80s Heat! Friendship!